Hey, what's up, guys? Good afternoon. It's Saturday. It's been a few days. It's been a tough week. Just to be, honest about everything. The Ravens' loss has been tough to swallow. I did the pod a day after. I've done two of them since the Ravens lost, and I've shared my thoughts about it, which is, you know, it, it is what it is. Like, just lost a football game. I don't think there's much deeper to go into it, and then breaking down every single play and all the things that went wrong is really, I just don't have the energy for it. So I didn't necessarily know exactly what I wanted to talk about this week, but I'm ready to put the Ravens behind me. I want to preview the Commanders and the Eagles tomorrow, along with the Bills and the Chiefs. See if we can make some money. It was a really good week last week, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, college hoops. So I've been thinking about this now, I guess, for the past couple of weeks, and I've decided that I just want to put out, a few games a week just to find what I think are my very best games, plus handicapping the Maryland game since I'm, as long as I have an opinion on it, a strong one. I really like the over. I was surprised. I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, I want to have a few college basketball games out per week as I get ready for the tournament. So tonight there's so many great games every Saturday. There's great games, but a lot of great games in particular on the back end tonight. So I have a couple games I'm looking at. I'll put those bets out shortly. Maryland on Friday, or excuse me, Thursday was, you think they're turning the corner because that second half was the best half that they've played. There's a couple takeaways that I had that I thought were interesting. Is he kept the rotation? Kevin Willard, the coach, kept the rotation really tight. All five guys played at least 31 minutes and would have played, more than that, except the last couple minutes they emptied out the bench. He really kept the rotation tight. Gapari, gets the most minutes off the bench. Him and Deshaun Harris Smith. That's really about it. They didn't Young gets a few minutes here and there as well. But all three of those guys were limited on Thursday at Illinois. He ran with the five guys, and I came away thinking, man, there's a couple improvements that need to be made individually that makes Maryland able to go on the run here. And so I want to get into that. But before I go to the improvements, the headline for me is Gillespie is so good. I mean, I don't the way he's finishing at the rim is incredible. If you didn't see the game, you see some of these highlights, just unreal finishing. Few layups where you just thought there was no chance the ball's going in. So that was an amazing thing to watch. He was great. He's also great on the other side of the ball. He does a great job of cutting off the other point guard. He's undersized, but he's quick. Gets his hand on the ball a lot. And then Julian Reese must have gotten much stronger because he was extremely dominant. There's been moments where there's certain games where he flashes. This game, he was just dominant. Coming out of the second half, he was the focal point, and Illinois made a little bit of a run. It was up to 52-41, I believe, and Reese was, the catalyst for that. And then Illinois made a little bit of a run, but again, Reese was just the constant all night long, very dominant inside. And so those are the two things that stood out. Queen is um, so here's the thing. Queen is great, and he's got the highest ceiling out of anybody, and he's gonna continue to get better. The problem is I don't know if he's gonna get better enough by March for Maryland to win a national championship, or at least get to the Final Four, because he's got to be our best player in a lot of situations. Like having Gillespie and Reese as your two and the three gives Maryland a legitimate chance. And Miguel and Rice as the four and the five, but Queen's got to be elite. And his conditioning, so he's lost a ton of weight. He's got himself in much better shape, but it's still just not there. And you can just tell the way he moves. He's like pacing himself throughout the game. He has moments where he's exploding, but then there's just moments where he does it. He's just not quick enough. And it's going to bite Maryland at some point in the tournament unless he can just get in better shape. That's as I'm watching him, because I'm always looking at the little things, setting the screens, how quick you can hedge out on the point guard. And there's moments where I'm like, his intelligence and athleticism is off the charts. He's just not quite in great shape. He's still almost working himself into great shape. And I would say he most likely has the discipline and the hard work to do it because he's already shed, I think I said 60 pounds is what I read coming into this year, but it's got to be even more. And he probably will be an amazing basketball player at the next level because he can pass, he can shoot, he dribbles. The spin move he made against the one guy to get the N1 was something, and then the power move on the other side. It was just nonstop him flashing and making great plays. But in order for Maryland to go to the next level, I need him to because we don't have a backup big, and you can't just have Reese out there as the only guy. He's undersized to be the only guy. It's not quite the NBA where all these all these other schools have big guys. They have big, strong guys. They play inside out. That's what the tournament comes down to. So Queen and Rice, good enough to get it done on any given night. Do they have the stamina to win multiple games and multiple weekends? Because that's what they would have to do. But I feel like the main takeaway from the Maryland Illinois game is Maryland essentially clinched themselves into the tournament this year. There's a ton of basketball left to be played, but they can really screw things up down the stretch and still get in. That was a great win, a signature win. Illinois does not lose like that at home. Like they just don't. That was a monstrous win. That does not happen very often. Illinois undersized. They shoot the ball really well, and Maryland was. Miguel and Rice did a great job. They played a lot of minutes. Miguel in particular made a couple really nice passes. Smart basketball player. Rice hit a big three at the end of the shot clock, which was a dagger. Maryland just played great. So great win for Maryland. I had the over. I was gun shy to take Maryland. It was at 5.5 or 6 points. It ended up obviously Maryland won that, but yeah, it did go over anyway. But not because Illinois got 90, it was because Maryland got 90. So that was that. Couple thoughts on the Orioles as we get ready for I guess spring training starting soon. I encourage everybody to read. Rubenstein did an interview with Rich Duproff that was very telling of what kind of mindset that Rubenstein has. And then he also did his own little interview, I think it was Barron's newspaper, where he talked about, the incoming Trump administration and things that were not super relevant to baseball. But then there was a couple things in there that I think were telling about the way he thinks and his his just I guess the goals of him owning the Orioles. Because I said this a couple weeks ago, winning a World Series is not his priority. If he says that, his actions speak louder than words, and it's just not. It's making this company profitable, him making money. If we win the World Series, I'm sure he wants to win the World Series, but it's not the top priority. You can just listen to the way, just read, the interview for yourself. He's very defensive. He doesn't want to get into the specifics about certain things, but then he's happy to elaborate about other things. And you just go back and forth, and you're like, as a fan, you just you're making excuses. So it's like, all right, because I grew up in Baltimore. Automatically, my team can't compete with the Mets and the Dodgers and the Yankees, and it's a defeatist attitude. I'm sure if he had that attitude, he would have never made as much money as he made. So it's just an excuse. It's an excuse. It's a way to obfuscate and just I don't know, call for the salary cap. So that was the main thing. If you listen to his interview, that was the main takeaway I had. There's a bunch of other stuff. I don't feel like reading word for word everything he said. You guys can do that if you're interested. But the takeaway that I had that didn't get the follow up that I would have liked was like, yeah, he hoped that baseball would have a salary cap like the NBA and the NFL. And I just find that comical that the venture capitalist, the hedge fund, the guy that makes a gazillion dollars because there's no limit on how much money you can make, which I'm completely in favor of, by the way. That would be my politics, if you will, make as much money as possible. But then you call for the salary cap in an industry. Like instead of, yeah, you got to figure it out. Like you need to figure it out. Sure, there's a bigger market in New York and LA. Figure it out. To be more innovative. Come up with something. Redo things in a innovative fashion. If I had the answers, I would suggest them. I don't, but I hate the complaining. I hate the idea that we want to cap the industries that are the most entertaining, like sports. Like I don't understand the mindset for that. There's That's why everybody gets representation, and there's gazillion lawyers that get paid gazillion dollars to negotiate this stuff. And baseball was able to negotiate the American way, which is no salary cap. So the owners have to figure it out, and they do things all the time that are, quote unquote, collusion based to limit the contracts. There's a reason why some guys are still free agents as we speak, and why there's a lot of things that owners can do. But for Rubenstein to come out and say, yeah, we're just not going to be able to ever compete with the big market teams and things just aren't fair and blah, 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 blah is so fucking annoying. It's annoying for me to even talk about. So I don't know. Very disheartening. Nothing changed really from the last ownership, except this guy's a better media guy. He knows how to market things better. And then when you listen to what they're going to do with baseball operations on the business side with Griggs, the woman from Seattle that's come over, they're going to, yeah, they announced that they've lowered the prices for some food, which is nice, but they're going to cut the seats. They're going to limit the seats. They'll raise the prices on tickets. And what they did in the playoffs was absurd. And I don't know, just a bad taste in my mouth with everything. And when Rubenstein opens his mouth, it's like he can't read the room. I made a joke about going to spring training to give out Little League, his hitting tips. And it's like, dude, we needed to sign the best pitcher that was available. You can't really, and then you didn't sign Santander. So I don't know how you expect me, anybody else, to just like put on a happy face and root for the Orioles after what's happened. The prices for the playoff tickets, as we've mentioned, the diehard fans end up paying way more money than people that bought it at the last minute, as the demand wasn't there, and the prices just go up and up and up it's just so contradictory, right? You say that you can't sign these guys because we're in a small market, but yet you got to raise the prices as much as possible to squeeze every dollar. I don't know. So the Orioles are not at the top of my list as far as fandom at the moment. Players, nothing wrong with the players. They're really easy to root for. But then the last piece is they made a gazillion coaching staff changes, like too many to even go over. There's like so many coaching staff changes, but they didn't change the manager, who, in my opinion, just lost the team down the stretch, didn't know how to push the right buttons, tried to overmanage in certain situations. So I don't understand the logic of replacing a lot of his subordinates and still keeping him, except you're just doing it on the cheap, I guess. Cheaper to keep him than pay somebody else, promote a bunch of people, whatever. So there you go. That's my Orioles thoughts for the week. I suggest you read the article for yourself, though. It's telling how the way Rubenstein talks about his business, about the Orioles, and yeah. So, all right, I'll have college basketball out later this afternoon, and yeah, Commanders. My gut feeling is the Commanders won the Super Bowl last week. I don't think they're beating Philadelphia. I'm going to try to talk myself into it because I'd like to see it, but too many holes on the defensive front. I think they're going to play from behind, and Philly's defense has just been too good. But I'll elaborate more on that tomorrow. And Bills Chiefs, I still haven't decided. I don't know. This is my last time talking about the Ravens today, so I'm focused on Bills Chiefs tomorrow. See if we can make some money. Hope you guys have a great day, and good luck. See you in the morning.